Hi, the first question is, what is a project and what is project management? So in order to explain that, I'd like to show you some slides about it. So Project Management Institute is the organization which provides a framework for project management. And this is their definition of projects. All projects are a temporary effort to create value through a unique product, service, or result. And all projects have a beginning and an end. So any activity you're doing where you have a start date and an end date, and that activity is providing value for the company. You are producing a new product, or you're providing a new service or a new result. That is a project. And when you are working on a project, you are working with a team. It's not a one-man job. There will be a group of people who will be managing and making sure the work is completed and they are doing the work. You have a budget, you have a certain dollar figure amount that is available and within which you need to complete the project. You have a schedule, it's time bound, and you must make sure the project completes on time, it completes all the work. And there's a set of expectations the team needs to meet. So each project is unique and different from operations. So if you go to a company and there's raw material coming in and you're processing it and you're maintaining the quality and you're producing the output, that is a regular operation. But a project is a special activity within those operations. Usually, for example, you may be installing a new machine. That is a project. You have to take out the old machine, install a new one. Or you may install a brand new production line. That is a project because you have a start date, you have an end date, you have a budget, and you have a schedule for it. And so you need to do planning for it. So project management is a different field than operations. And thus there are many opportunities within it for your career. What is project management? So as a project manager, you will be working with a team. You will be initiating or starting out a project, planning for it, planning for how many people you need, resources you need, and the time, the budget, the schedule. And then you will be executing. You will undertake the project. As a project manager, you usually don't do the work. You get the work done from the team. So you'll be managing and controlling the team and monitoring their work. And then at the end, closing the work and make sure that they achieve the specific goals and specific criteria. So if you're building a bridge, you're a project manager, you don't necessarily need to be an engineer, although it does help. But if you have some technical background and you have project management skills, you can manage the team which is working on that project. And so there are constraints. Usually the constraints are scope, time, quality, and budget. Scope means the work. You need to complete all the work. That is a constraint. If you don't complete all the work, your project is not complete. Then you have time. Schedule is a constraint. Within 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, you need to complete the project. It is not a continuous activity. There is an end date for every project. Then quality. Even if you complete the project on time, but the quality is not good, if there's issues with the quality of the output, then your project is not successful. And if you go over the budget, then also your project is not successful. So these are the challenges for the project manager to manage the project. And there are many tools and techniques and activities you need to do to fulfill that. So this career and this work, you need to have many skills. You need to have skills how to manage people, how to manage finances, how to manage a schedule, how to keep people motivated, how to monitor the work, and all these other aspects. So we will understand this in more detail in the next few minutes. So what are the careers in project management? What type of jobs can you do? If you go on the Project Management Institute website, they indicate that the demand for project managers over the next 10 years is growing faster than the demand for many other occupations. And there's higher pay rate, transferable skills, and an opportunity for advancement. Usually, when you are starting to work in project management, you would be undertaking a project coordinator position. The project coordinator is somebody who will be managing all the documentation. They are managing the meetings. They are undertaking the updating of all the documents and making sure everyone knows what activities they need to do and following up with that. And so they are supporting the project managers. They're also project scheduler, which will make sure that the raw material comes there on time and all the resources are there, the equipment, the material, all that is there available. So that is the project scheduler. And then there's, of course, assistant project managers, which again are assisting the full-fledged project managers. Project managers are independently managing a project, and so they have the expertise regarding how to schedule, how to make a budget, how to arrange the resources. And they work with many other people in the company. They work with purchase department for the raw material. They work with operations to make sure that their projects are in line with their production planning. They work with quality control to make sure quality is maintained in the project. And then more senior ones you have are program managers and portfolio managers. Program managers, they manage a group of projects together, which are the which are related. And portfolio managers manage many projects which are unrelated. So program manager and portfolio manager, you need to have over 8 years of experience. Then you can go for those ones. But as a starting, usually you would go as a project coordinator or project scheduler or assistant project manager. Okay, next we're going to talk about the certifications for project management. If you go on the PMI website, which is www.pmi.org, there you will see there are two main types of certifications. One is the Certified Associate in Project Management. This is for those people who have a degree and they also have 23 hours of project management education. So that can be undertaken by taking some online courses, which will qualify you to take the exam. So for the CAPM, you do not have to have any work experience in project management. So those who are just graduating from college or university, for them, CAPM would be suitable. And then once you have some years of experience, so if you have a degree and you have 3 years of experience and you have 35 hours of project management education, then you can take the PMP examination, the project management professional. If you don't have a degree, then you need 5 years of experience. So the PMP is a certification which is much more in demand, of course, than the CAPM. But still, the CAPM will get your foot in the door of many jobs. When you search on Indeed.ca, they will ask for CAPM or PMP certification, because then it means you understand the terminology, you understand the methodology, and you have a competency that is equal to others in the field. There are many colleges and universities which have project management, also 1 year or 2 year courses, which are postgraduate certificates, but they are valuable. But even more than that are these certifications. Even those students who do that, they still do the certification. So that also is something which you can consider, but it is much more costly and much more time intensive to undertake a course at a college, but it is not required really. If you have engineering background or you have any technical background, then doing this certification will help you in your field if you want to go into project management. So what are the topics that you need to know and study and understand, and in order to take the certification exam and in order to be competent as a project manager. Here we see a comparison of the 6th edition and the 7th edition of the PMBOK guide. Currently, the 7th edition is being used, and we can see that as a project manager, there are references for the standard for project management, and the second is the guide. So in one book, they have these two parts of the guide. And the guide is just, again, just giving you some guideline. It's not a detailed book about how to actually manage a project. The guide gives what is the system for value delivery and what are the principles as a project manager. What principles should you follow? You should be following quality. You should manage stakeholders. You should have leadership skills. You should be able to understand risk and adapt, etc. So those are principles, which are just guidelines. And then the guide to the project management, that has indications of more competency that you need to know. We have here project performance domains, which include being able to communicate and talk to stakeholders. Communication is really key aspect of success for a project manager. So without communication, you cannot properly discuss or have a proper discussion or have a proper meeting with stakeholders. So communication includes verbal, it includes also written, it includes PowerPoint presentations, it also includes data analysis. All these are important because you need to meet with stakeholders, meet with teams, and provide guidance for the project. So you need to have those skills. Furthermore, you need to understand which life cycle you'll be using. There are different methodologies for project management, which are, for example, waterfall or agile methodology. So you need to know which approach to take in which situation. Then tailoring is just you need to modify some of the documents or the methodology according to the situation. You need to also know how to do planning. So planning is everything you do before you start the actual project. And under planning actually comes the knowledge areas which were mentioned in 6th edition, which includes scope, what is the work you need to do, what is the schedule, you need to make a schedule, make a cost estimate, and a budget, and understand and finalize the specifications for quality, manage the resources, the communications, risk, procurement, and stakeholders. So those were all the planning aspects you need to be competent in. Then you actually do the work. When you do the work, you make sure all the work is being completed. Some way of monitoring and controlling should be there. Measurement is there. And then at the end is delivery. You provide the end product. If you are building a bridge, that is your end product. If you're providing a service, if you're doing an energy audit, you may be providing a report which has all the information in it, recommendations. So it could be a service, it could be a product. And so in order to do this, there are many models, methods, and artifacts that you need to use. So there are many documents. A lot of the documents some of them are in Word, some of them are Excel-based. There are also software which you should be using for reports and for managing the work. So you need to be competent in using software for managing your project also. So these are also important soft skills. It's not just about knowing the theory. The practical aspect of it is to use those documents, and we call them artifacts, to manage the project effectively and in the proper manner. So when you're making a project plan, these are the 10 essential elements that you need to be competent in. So we have, first of all, scope statement, which is what is the work you need to do. So in order to complete the project, you must, if you're doing a construction project, you must dig out the foundation, first of all. Then you need to pour the concrete for the base, for the foundation. Then you need to erect the walls. Then you need to install the plumbing, the wiring, the gas installation, the roof also. Then you need to do the also flooring, etc. So that is all the scope. That is the work you need to do. And then the schedule, you need to make a schedule that how long will each of those activities take. So again, if you have a background, you have a technical background as an engineer, you have a good idea, but you're not going to be doing the work. You need to talk to those people who will do the work, and they will tell you how long it will take and what resources they need, what requirements they need. So based on that, you need to prepare a budget. Budget, of course, includes people. It includes also the cost for the raw material, cost for equipment. You may buy equipment, you may rent equipment, and also the cost for permits and licenses and other fees. So you need to make a proper budget. So that skill also you need to know. And then quality, you need to understand what is quality specification. How can you meet that? How can you test for it? How can you ensure that you're meeting the quality criteria? If you're building something, there is building code from Canada. There's also the Electrical Safety Authority has also quality specifications. So you need to understand those and you need to enforce them and make sure that they are incorporated in your project. And you need to manage all the resources, making sure the resources are available on time and in the proper quantity. And you need to keep the stakeholders aware of what is happening in the project. And so you should have a communication plan in place, which will communicate. You have regular, weekly, usually a newsletter or a dashboard, a IT software, or a report, which tells how much work did we do, how much money did we spend, are we on the schedule or behind, is there any concern, is there any quality issue, is there any other problem in delivery of raw material, etc. So these all aspects must be communicated. And then if you need to buy some material from outside of the company, how are you managing that? And then any risks that can happen, whether it's weather related or other aspects, how are you managing that? So these are parts of a project plan. So these are things every day, daily. As a project manager, you have meetings. You have a lot of meetings. You need to understand these requirements. You need to prepare documents for it. You need to communicate the documents to other people. You need to have a meeting to either present to people what is happening, or you need to have a meeting to gather information. And this way you are managing the project accordingly, making sure it is on time and within budget. So what is the difference between operations and projects? So as we can see here, this example of a fruit juice factory. We have fresh oranges coming into the factory, and then we have the oranges are washed, the juice is extracted from it, and then the fresh juice is packaged within bottles. The waste is going to animal feed. However, sometime in the year, there may not be fresh oranges, so the excess juice is evaporated, made thick into honey-like consistency, into a concentrate. It is filled in drums and stored in the warehouse, usually at sub-zero temperature. And then in the winter or in the summer, when there's no oranges or less oranges, they can add water and it can be then reconstituted into juice, and that is then sent to the shops. So this is regular operations. So if you're doing regular operations, it is a routine work. There's no break in the work. Every day, the same activity is undertaken. Every day, there's fresh oranges coming into the factory, and there's juice being produced. There's really no end date for it, right? So that is a continuous operation. And if you like to work in operation, it's great. You're doing almost the same thing every day. But if you're working in project management in this factory, there are many projects which are being undertaken in it also. You may work on projects, for example, you may install a new factory. Maybe your company decides we also want to do now some other, maybe dairy fruit processing, or they want to also do some other food product. So they have space in the factory. So you need to build a new extension and use some shared resources and add new machinery. So that could be a project you could work on for installing a new factory. Or maybe some of the machines are old. You need to take out the old machine, install a new machine. That could be a project. Or there may be some quality issues and you need to investigate that. So there again, you need to do some research and you need to do some trials and you need to find out the root cause and make some changes. So that could be a project also. Or you need to develop a new product. Maybe they're making orange juice and now they decide we need to make mango juice. So that could be also another aspect you could work on. Or you could work on an energy saving project, that how can we reduce the energy costs of the company for water, gas, electricity, etc. So you may do an energy audit and then make changes and then monitor and see, did you make a significant change or not? So these are examples, and there are many, many projects which every company is undertaking. So if you like to have a variety of work to do and you like to manage work in this way, then project management is an interesting field for you. So the next question is, how much can I earn as a project manager? Is it really worth putting in the effort to do the certification? So let's take a look at that. The Earning Power Project Management Salary Survey. This is on the PMI.org website. And if you go under membership and community, you click on Career Central. So underneath here, you will find this report. And this report, you can only download it if you're a member, and I am a member, so I can show that to you. And this is a salary survey for human resource managers, recruiters, compensation committees who are not sure how much they should be paying somebody for a project management role. So when you're going for an interview, you get an idea how much you can ask for. So we're based in Canada, so I just brought up this. This is a 188-page report covering all the different countries in the world, but we're focusing on Canada. So they did a survey of 2,000 project managers in Canada, and the median, that is, the median is the middle number when you put all the numbers in one column. That was 100,000 Canadian dollars gross salary before taxes and other deductions. The other top 75% percentile is 125,000, and the lowest 25th percentile is 81,000. So at least 81,000 is at least a minimum you would be expected to get as a project manager starting, and average is 113,000. So total compensation includes bonuses and other benefits. So overall, you can see that of these, which ones said that 40 out of these 44 said their salary decreased by 2%, but 615 said that it stayed the same. And so this is past 12 months, this is next 12 months. So currently, but most of them, they expect their increase to be 4 to 5%. We can see here. So 14% of them did say that. Most of them said that between 5 to 7% probably will be increased. Based on the position, we can see different, of course, salaries. Starting as a project management consultant or project management specialist, the starting range would be 70, 80 on the lower range. Sorry, median is here, 100,000, 80, 81,000. And then, of course, as you go up as a project manager, you're more close to $100,000 annual salary. And program managers, of course, are more senior. As I mentioned, they manage a group of projects, and the portfolio manager manages many projects together, 124,000. And then the director of project management office could be 135,000. So we can see from here that, of course, based on position, it also varies. And based on work experience, obviously, also, if they have less than 3 years experience, maybe 65,000 is a median. But as you get more work experience, then you get closer to $100,000. Within 5 to 10 years, 5 years, you would probably reach close to $100,000 annual salary before taxes. So this gives you an idea of the potential for undertaking a certification and working in this career, right? So how much does the certification cost? So you can go to the PMI website and go to CAPM, and this has all the information about the certification. So we can see here, of course, the different certification information, how to get your CAPM. And so there are 1.6 million PMI certification holders worldwide. And so you join a community of competent people worldwide. And so in order to sit for the CAPM exam, you need to meet the following criteria: have at least 23 hours of project management education and have a secondary degree. How much does it cost? $300. That is US dollars for non-members and $225 for members. But it's a good idea to get the membership, and that can help you in your career a lot. Here, when you click on the exam content outline, you will see this document, which gives you the detail of all the topics which are going to be covered in the exam. So you can see here, mainly it is based on the core concepts, 36%, and then predictive or waterfall methodology, 17%, agile, this is for IT projects management, 20% for that, and then business analysis. And then there's a checklist here also. You can go through and see, do I know these topics? You need to go through those and make sure you are competent in those. So you can also download information from internet. You can get books also from the library. You can also watch videos recorded which cover these topics. There are also many different ways you can study for this. So that is the CAPM. And then the other one is the PMP. So the PMP certification, that information is here. And you can see that the PMP is, there are 1.4 million PMP certification holders worldwide. And so obviously there's a big demand for it. So I'm eligible for the PMP, a 4-year degree or 36 years, sorry, 36 months or 3 years experience working on projects within the last 8 years, and this experience can be worldwide. And then you have the, of course, high school diploma only, then you need 5 years of experience. And this is the exam content booklet for the PMP. And the main topics which you will study for the exam include, so it is a people management. So as a project manager, you're managing people. So 42% of the exam is about teams and people management. 50% is the process, and 8% is the business environment. Because if you're not good at managing people, then you cannot manage a project. You need to know how to manage conflict, lead a team, support team performance, empower the team, ensure the team members are properly trained, build the team, address and remove the difficulties, negotiate project agreements, collaborate with the stakeholders, build shared understanding, engage virtual teams, define the team ground rules, mentor the stakeholders, and promote team performance. So these are the aspects of the people, and then there's process. So you can go through this checklist and see what are you competent in and what do you need to study further. And so again, what does the PMP cost? The PMP cost is $575, that is US dollars, for non-members, $405 for members. So with this cost that's in US dollars, plus the cost of training material, maybe $1,000 Canadian if you spend, you could get a job which will pay you $80,000, $90,000 a year before taxes. So it really is a good return on investment in terms of the output. If you feel this is a field that is useful for you, then it's a great idea for you to consider doing these certifications and to get a proper job in the field. So I wish you best of luck in this objective.